Okay, good morning. Not what you expected. Listen, this isn't going to be a motorbike video, so if you want motorbike content for this one, this isn't it. This is just on this channel because I have nowhere else to put this video. I should probably start a second channel, but I can barely cope with one channel, so two is not going to happen. What to say? 2024 Ford Ranger Tremor. I've been looking for a soft tonneau cover for it. Been right round the houses. This is basically the video I was looking for, or hopefully it's going to turn into the video I was looking for, because there's nothing on the internet about these bloody things, because the way the sports bar goes, the roll bar goes, most soft covers won't fit. I thought I'd ordered a genuine Ford one. Turns out the Ford website was incorrect, so that's had to go back. Then I did a little bit of hunting. There were a couple I found that involved cutting some of the track out here to go around this bar, and it was just, it's a fucking bodge. I didn't want to do it. Anyway, I think I found the right one. I'll put a link in the description. It came from a company called Tops for Trucks. Absolutely no affiliation whatsoever. All I can say is they had it in stock and it came in 3 days. And actually I did ring them to ask them, because it turns out that with the Tremor, the way this cap goes over, you've got to chop some plastic away. And in their description on their website, it did say it was just a bolt-on fit. So I rang up to ask whether they'd sent the wrong one, or whether or not I did actually have to start chopping some bits, which makes me a bit nervous, but it'll be fine. And nobody answered the phone. But then a guy rang me back almost straight away and said, yeah, you've got to chop some, because the cover fits Wild Track and all the other models in the Ranger range. So yeah, you do have to cut some. I was like, oh fuck, really? He said, don't worry if you cock it up in some way. They fitted loads of them to Tremors, and they've got loads of these they fitted hard tops to Tremors, and they've got lots of these caps in stock. So if you fucked up, then you can get these plastic bits easy enough. So I had a good conversation with him. He was super helpful. That was that. And then about 10 minutes later, another guy from Tops Trucks rang me and said, you left a message on our answer machine. Anyway, so it appears that they seem to be on it in terms of their after sales. So maybe a good sign. Maybe I just dropped lucky. I don't know. That's topsfortrucks.co.uk. No affiliation, but that's where this cover came from. I'll put the part number of the cover on the screen. Let's get into it. Sorry, it's not a motorbike video. Plenty of those coming. This will just sit in between two bike videos. There's a bike video, as you know, every Friday. This will just be a midweek thing. I need to put it somewhere on the internet, and I've got this channel, so that's where it's going to live. Right, onwards. I think I need to get a drying towel. It's got a bit of dew on it. Give it a dry off, and let's show you what's in the kit. I'm looking forward to not having a wet bed. It's a pain in the arse not being able to put anything in here without getting soaking wet. I know you're probably all thinking, well, get one of those roller shuttery things, Jim. They take up quite a lot of room at the front here, and they're really fucking expensive. So I think a soft cover is probably the way forward. Okay, so it is great film work. It's a Kiko kit. I'll put the link in the description. Oh, there's a part number on the end here, look. That's what it is. Well, let's get it out. And no mention of Tremor on there, but it is a bit of an odd Ranger model, I know. Let's get it out. I'll show you all the component bits inside. Behold, that's all you get. Not a great deal. Obviously the cover, which has got this sort of locking mechanism for over the back. You'll see in a second when it's on. They're the two little strutty things, so it doesn't gather water. Two main events, which are the rails that run down the sides. Two of those, and then this strip which goes along that back. And yeah, a bag of nuts and bolts. Two little foamy things which go here somewhere. We'll figure that out. A little bracket which holds the back of this in the centre there somewhere. We'll see how that works, and then a couple of straps, some instructions. That's it. That's all you get. Right. So the issue, if you like, is, in fact, let me jump in the bed and I'll show you. I'll try and do this one-handed, but so this intricately shaped piece of aluminium, this must have been like a custom extrusion. It's really nice, and it's got rubber seals on it and stuff. Anyway, this bolts on here, but it bolts to, there's a gap here, and there's metal behind, get it in shot. And the holes, I can feel where the holes are that this bolts to. You can feel the holes underneath. So basically I've got to trim out just the right amount of plastic along here so that this pushes up against the steel, but I've still got the seal in place that pushes on the plastic. I'm going to have to do some measuring with a vernier caliper, I think, and just get this measured exactly. And I've got one of those vibrate-y cut-off wheel multi-tool things to do this. I think that's probably the best bet. There's a bit of a gap under there. I think probably what I'm going to do is slide a little piece of thin plywood or something up underneath, because I don't want to mark the steel underneath. I mean, it wouldn't matter if you touched it, you're not going to see it, but you know what I'm saying. Be as neat as you can. And then we got this strip which glues, which double-sided tapes along the back of here. I'm going to cut that end nice and square, and then I think probably what I'll do is I've got some, I wanted to get some Tiger Seal, but I couldn't find any, but I've got some black PU adhesive. So there's a bit of a gap under there. So I'll put some black PU adhesive in that gap, and probably on the end of this foam. So it's basically trying to get it as watertight as possible. These, from the research I've done, these soft covers, they're never 100% waterproof, but they're, you know, it is what it is. It's better than everything in the bed getting soaking wet. Right, let me make a start and I'll bring you back in. So I've just been offering this rail up before I cut. So what I'm trying to say, this forward bolt is an 8mm bolt. It's the only 8mm one. It's got a captive nut on the back on the forward bodywork. So I've just drilled a hole through the plastic with me drill, and then I've had, what I've been doing is, guys, I've been just putting that up the back, so when I drill the hole I'm not going into the metal anyway. OCD Jim. Come on, focus. Yeah, so I've done that, and then I've got a clamp here like that, and it turns out I think the cut point is the top of this moulding along here. Now I did ask the guy at Tops for Trucks, I was like, how is this held on? And he said, yeah, don't worry about losing these fixings, because actually if you feel all the way underneath, there's other clips all the way under. So it's well attached, this, so losing these, and obviously the rail and stuff is going to be there holding it sort of in place. I might get busy with some PU adhesive somewhere as well. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to cut. Wish me luck. Save you putting it in the comments. That's what I'm using to cut it with. Not my first rodeo cutting plastic. Whoever invented this tool needs a big hug. Absolutely epic thing. So the cut line, see this little recess, tiny bit below that recess, and then you basically, where's the, sorry, great camera work, it basically just kisses the top of that piece there where those clips are, all the way along, and then the cut is going to end, you're going to come to here, and you go down there in line with this. At least that's what I think at this point. Right, let's get cutting. I'll make the mistakes so you don't have to. I'll tell you what, that vibrating tool is flipping amazing. That's what she said. So let's tape out of the way. I didn't actually need to use that, really. It's that tool's so easy to control. You sort of get your speed right. Why am I bothering taking that tape off? There's no need, is there? Let's get this clip out of the way. If you get your cutting speed right with the tool, you can sort of feel as it's cutting, because of the shape of it, it doesn't go. Yeah. Anyway, you don't really need the wood underneath if you're paying attention. I think you'll be fine. Okay. Okay. And then my plan was, I've got a deburring tool from the lathe here. I just wonder if I can go along it with this and get the. Oh, look at that! It's like a bought one. That's really solid still. I was worried that was going to be flopping around, but there's a load of clips under here. You can feel them all the way along. Right, let me tidy this up. Let's offer it up and see if it fits. Okie dokie. So I've just got 2 bolts holding it on. One here and that big 8mm at the end. I like it. Fits nice. And then this, let me get it from the other side maybe. I can't. Oh, how do I film that bit? Down in there, this channel, that rubber strip, I don't know, it's a nice fit. Fits really nicely. And this black anodized nuss, show you from the other side. Yeah, so far, I like it a lot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the other side on, and I'm going to get the cross member in position as well, without sticking this foam down, because maybe I'm being thick, but I don't completely understand the instructions and what they're telling you to do cutting that piece of foam. I think they're trying to tell you to tuck it into that little gap up there. Anyway, I want to get the sort of frame just in place roughly before I decide what I'm doing with that piece of foam. And then also, I don't know whether I'm going to take, when I finally fit these, whether I'll put a little bit of PU adhesive in this gap. I want it to be as waterproof as possible. It's designed to be waterproof, but you know what these things are like. Okay, I'm going to get the rest of the framework on. Cut the other plastic on the other side. Let's get it all resting in position. Then I can decide what I'm going to do with this foam strip along the back there. Okay, so roughly together, in that both these side rails are on just with 2 bolts, one front and rear, not done up super tight. I've got the, the main bar at the back that holds the rolly bit in position but not screwed in or anything. Just so I could understand, I wanted to try and get an idea of the sort of point that the water would try and get in. Do you see what I mean? Because it was asking for some weird cutting of that foam. I think I'm going to butt it up against this plastic piece, and then this little gap here, probably not coming out that well on camera, and I think what they're trying to tell you to do is cut the foam thin and poke the foam in this gap. I'm going to very neatly fill that gap with some black PU adhesive instead. I think that'll be a neater job. So far, I'm liking it. What to say? What can I tell you so far? The hardware's not shit, as in the nuts and bolts that hold it on. Very often with these things, it's fucking Chinesium chocolate, isn't it? The fasteners, and actually they seem to be pretty good quality, so that's a win. I thought I might be going out and getting some stainless steel hardware to fit it to make it nicer, but actually the original stuff it's all right. It's like black zinc, you know, it's got a bit of gravity to it. It's good hardware. This edge, clipping it in here around these rails, around this bar, is a bit of a ball ache. It's probably technique, and it'll probably get easier over time. That's the compromise though, isn't it? You want to spend $2 on a electric roller shutter, then you haven't got to fight with a cover, have you? Most of the time though, the covers are going to stay in place, and this will just get used as a storage area. You know what I'm saying? Right, okay, I'm going to go make a brew. So far, so good. Take it all off again. Now I understand what that bit of foam strip is actually trying to do. Going to glue that, fill that little gap up with some black PU adhesive. I'll show you that probably. Stick that foam strip on, give everything a last little bit of a clean, and then final assembly time. And there's some little bits of foam to stick here, and decide, they give you excess amounts of this. It sticks out either side. You need to understand where to cut that. Coming together though. So far, so good. Okay, fast forward a bit. So I've got that foam strip on there now. What to say? In the instructions it says to cut a little corner out of it, so you've got a little extra flat piece. That's definitely the way forward. In my head, I was thinking I was gonna just fill it up with sealer. By the way, if you want to know, that's the sealer I'm using. It wouldn't be my first choice, but it's what I could get and it will be fine. So yeah, so I cut a little noggin out of the corner of that strip there, and a little bit of sealer on it, and then just tucked it underneath. And I think that's a nice, neat way of doing it. And then there's a trick. I've got some B-roll I'll show you, but so you can, because it's sticky backed, isn't it, that foam? What I did is I tore a little bit of the protective film off that you pull off to stick it down, and then stuck it on the end so I could slide it under with a sealer on and then pull that off so it was stuck down. I'll try and include that somehow in the edit so you can see what I mean. Yeah, nothing to report really. It looks nice and neat from the outside. I did watch, oh crikey, I won't name names, but in my research to do this job, I watched loads of YouTube videos, and I came across a British company that was fitting, I can't remember whether it was a soft cover or a hard top. Fucking hell, just gobbing sealer everywhere and then fucking smearing it with their finger. It was just, oh my God, I feel triggered. Stop. If you're going to do it, saying, oh, you're not going to see it, it's underneath the cover, that's not a fucking excuse for not doing a good job, especially if somebody's paying you to do the work. I'm going to go on a rant. Anyway, the strip's on. Basically, it's just bolt it in now. I was considering running, get it to focus on here. So this is the profile. So what am I trying to say? This piece of foam here and this rubber seal fit up against the plastic. And I was thinking I might run a bead of sealer along here, but it's designed to be waterproof. It's waterproof here, and it's going to be waterproofed here. There's no water getting in down this side. I'm just a little bit worried that this is a sort of water trap, bit of a channel, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine. I don't want to start gobbing sealer where it doesn't need to be. So literally now it's just a case of bolting it together. Should be straightforward. Right, I'll see you on the other side. Sorry if the audio sounds different. It's a different camera. I think I might have fucked up, guys. Which is sort of the point, isn't it? I'll make the mistake so you don't have to. Or, yeah. So, you know, I've butted this foam up against there. I think this rubber strip, which slides in this rail, I could just put a load of sealer on the end of it. I think I need to scallop out a bit of foam here and extend this rubber strip, because there's loads of it sticking out of this end. So there's plenty spare. I think that needs to go that way. And you know, go all the way and overhang slightly, because this channel is going to be the water trap, isn't it? Water's going to run off the cover, sit in here. This is going to fill up with water, and if there's any way through there, it's just going to leak, isn't it? Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. Right, let me modify it and I'll be back. There it is then. Ta-da! Got me nice little rubber floor mat in, look, as well. Very posh. Was that useful? I think it probably is useful if you're actually fitting this particular cover. There's a few top tips in there. What do I like and not like? I tell you what I don't like, the side rails, the way it was packaged in the box, they were literally fucking strapped together with a little bit of cling filmy type stuff, you know, scraping against each other. So they've come brand new with a few little marks on. So that's not Tops for Trucks' fault. That's just the manufacturer, the way they do a bit of shitty packaging. That could do with being improved upon. I mean, I don't know why they don't just roll them up in the tonneau cover, you know, put one in, roll it a bit, put the next one in, roll it a bit. That would be a far more sensible way of doing it. So they've got some marks on, a little bit annoying. The little stick-on foam piece is basically a waste of space, and that's not going to last, I shouldn't think. I can't help but feel that there'll be a solution, 3D printing some sort of hard piece of plastic that will slide inside the extrusion. That might be a thing, a project for the future. It's a little bit of a faff to get on the cover on where it, you know, where this, say, post, where this roll bar, sports bar comes down. It's quite difficult to tuck it in there. I'm guessing once you've done it a few times, there'll be a technique for that, won't there? Yeah, I'm quite happy. How long did it take? Probably, with the fannying around with the camera, about 3.5 hours. If I was doing another one, I reckon you could knock one out in an hour and a half without too much drama. Anyway, I'm going to waffle. Hope you found it interesting. See you on the other side. You should know by now, when I say it's the end, it never is. Let me just show you putting this cover on. I'm sure it will strap up neater than that. I didn't pay much attention to it when I was rolling it up. Right, okay. Now I don't know whether doing that first or hooking the edge in first. I think hooking the edge in first is probably the best plan. Okay, massive fight. Turns out, even with this cover, you've got to do a little bit of choppy, which upsets me a bit because I didn't really want to do that, but it is actually fine. You just got to cut out that, it goes to about there, that plastic piece. You cut it out just to about here. So you can clip it in all the way, and then it's just pulled, get it in shot, it's pulled taut through this gap. Otherwise there's physically no way you can clip it in. Trust me, I tried. It would get old very, very quickly. What to say, yeah, before I tighten these rails up, you know, did the bolts all the way up snug, I had a little bit of movement in the rails and I could get it to tuck in, but once everything's tight on both sides, not a chance of getting it together. I wanted to just show you, because I wondered, oh, and I've had to play with these rails too. It's easier, they're quite tight, and it makes the cover really tight to get on. It's easier just to slide your arse up in there and put them in after you've got the cover on. I don't like the look because it makes it bow a little bit. Obviously it'll stop the water pooling, but I prefer that sort of flat look. Anyway, this jobby, I wanted to show you, because I wondered when I was ordering how this, what sort of neat fitment it was on the, God, you're going to have to actually get your hand in shot. See this recess in the tailgate? It clips down really nicely into there, look. Happy with that. It's a really, really nice fit. Anyway, I think that is the end now. Did I say already, a bit pissed off that there were some scratches on the sides just because it's packaged badly. These little foam pieces they give you to stick on are a fucking waste of time. I'm gonna get busy with Fusion 360 and 3D print some nice hard bits of plastic that slide into that extrusion. So it's a little bit more of a mechanical. I know that Kiko also do. I might see if I can find one online. They do a sealing. What's the word? A sealing seal kit for the boot and for this tailgate, and I've seen them online and they stick on around here. It makes it more watertight because there's a fucking gaping hole there. There's a massive gape on it. Can I shut that without? Yeah, you can shut that, but it folds that seal in on itself. So actually, if you want that to sit properly, the lip of this seal, you need to do that first, then that, then that. It's just how it is, I suppose. Anyway, fucking hell, I'm waffling. Hope it was interesting. Hope you learned something if you're fitting one of these. Normal motorbike content will resume. This is just a one-off. I wanted to document the process because I couldn't find anything online when I was doing my research. Right, see you later, guys. Take it easy.